Good morning, students. Myself, Sunita Kharchane from SV Union School and Junior College. Welcome, students, to another session of Political Science. And in this session of Political Science, we are going to revise Political Science chapter number 1, Working of the Constitution. And after that, we will revise and then we are going to solve few multiple choice of questions. But before what we do, before we start with the MCQs, we are going to revise what we have already learned in our chapter number 1, that is in working of the Constitution. Okay, so first let us revise what is the Constitution. So Constitution of India, it is the supreme law of India and it is the longest written constitution in the world. It is the longest written constitution in the world. So now let us see what are the things what we have already learned about the Indian Constitution. Fine. So when you have learned about the Indian Constitution, you all know that it is objective of the Indian Constitution, that is a written constitution. It was to establish a secular democratic republic. What is the meaning of secular? First let us understand. Secular means in our nation the people are free to practice their own religion. Okay, democratic means the people of our nation, they have their political rights. Okay, and republic because in our nation the head of our nation, right, he is being elected by the proper elections, and so our nation is a republic also. So the main objective of our constitution was to establish a secular, correct, secular and a democratic nation. It ensures that citizens get justice and their freedom is protected. And also the constitution, it has been worked or it has been established to see that the progressive development of the society is done, but which is based on the social justice and equality. What are the other things we have focused on this chapter? We have learned about the democracy, we have learned about the Indian judiciary system, and also about the equality and the social justice. So these are the three areas on which we have focused more when we have learned this chapter. So just a recap of what we have learned in this. First thing, we have learned about the political maturity. Now what does it political maturity means? So the people of our nation are mature enough to understand the functions of the political activities, and also the people become aware of their rights. That is a political maturity. Okay, and even the people have a direct representation in the parliament, that is the in Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, in state legislature, okay, like Vidhan Sabha and Vidhan Parishad, and local government. Local self-government, as you all know about the municipal corporation, Zilla Parishad, okay, and free and fair elections are held in our nation at a regular interval. Then there is an increase in our nation. How? Let us see. So this gave an opportunity to the young generation to participate in the politics, right? They can choose their representatives, they can take part in the political activities, okay? And due to this provision, right, of reducing the age of the voters from 21 to 18 years of age, India has become a largest democracy in the world. Not only quantitative, children, you have to understand it is also qualitative. Decentralization of democracy. Centralization, opposite of centralization is decentralization. Centralization means all the power was concentrated or they were centered only at a supreme level, okay? But decentralization, it means the power is not concentrated into the hands of a center or to the supreme power, but the powers are further distributed from the supreme level to the local level, okay? And that is called to be as a decentralization of democracy. So in decentralization of power, it is central to democratic government, okay? And due to the decentralization of democracy, it has controlled the misuse of power. Now because the power is not concentrated only at one level, to a supreme level, okay, and it has been distributed even to the state level and local level, as a result, It creates opportunities for the common people to participate in the political you can say process or activities. The directive principles of state policy, this include the provision for democratic decentralization. Then, according to the 73rd and 74th amendment, what is the meaning of amendment? Amendment means the changes which are made into the constitution. Okay. So, the 73rd and 74th amendment, that is the changes which are made in the Indian constitution, it has guaranteed the constitutional status and it protects the local self-governing institution. Which are the local self-governing institution? Like the municipal corporations, municipalities, Zilla Parishads. Okay, it also increased their powers. So now the local self-governing institution also have been given the powers. Their powers have been increased so that they can work for the benefit of their state or their area in a proper way. Next one, you all are aware about the Right to Information Act, RTI of 2005. So the government of India, it has given the right of information to citizens of India to see that there is a complete transparency and accountability, okay, which are the hallmark. Hallmark means it is a symbol of good governance. Now under this act, every citizen of our nation, they can know actually what functions are going into the government or what activities have been done by the government. So there is no such a type of a secrecy which is left now. Okay. So in right to information, government has become more transparent and it has reduced the element of secrecy. Okay. Next thing is the social justice and equality. These are the important objective of our constitution. Okay, this may come for your MCQs also. Social justice and equality. These are the main objectives of our constitution. Okay, two things you have to keep in mind. To establish social justice and to remove social conditions which are responsible for injustice and insist on equality of dignity for all individuals. So, to establish social justice means to what? To remove all the injustice. Okay, and to see that all the people get a dignity, a respectful life for all the individual regardless of whatever gender, caste, community he belongs to. The principles of justice and equality aim at ending discrimination, right? So discrimination is totally ended. Okay, no one is superior or inferior on the basis of caste, religion, gender, place of birth or the property. What are the efforts which are made by the government to establish social justice and equality? Now, as I told you, these are the main objectives, social justice and equality. These are the main objectives of our constitution. Yes, I told you this. Now, if you want to bring about the social justice and to bring about the equality, then we have to work for it, right? So, some efforts have to be done or some policies have to be done accordingly. The first efforts you can see or the policy made is the policy of reservation of seats. For whom it is, let us see now. Now this policy of reservation of seats, it is made for those sections who have been deprived, that means those who are kept away from getting the basic opportunities for getting education and for getting the proper employment for long period of time. Okay, and for these people to come into the mainstream, okay, for their development, for that purpose, a policy of reservation of seats this policy has been made by the government. Accordingly, in educational institution also you can find, or in the government services, there are some seats which are kept reserved for the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, with one aim keeping in mind that due to the reservation of seats, even the people who have been deprived of getting proper education and employment, even they can get a opportunity like any other person of our nation. Also, the Prevention of Atrocity Act is made specially for the SC and the ST category. This is important act for establishing again social, as I told you, these are the main objectives of our nation. For that purpose, reservation seats are made, correct? Also, Atrocity Act is made to protect the SC and ST category. This act prevents any injustice, any crime, okay, any wrong things which are done against the scheduled caste and the scheduled tribe. So this is a Prevention of Atrocity Act. Then for minorities, you know that minorities are the people who are less in population as compared to the other people of religion. Those are called to be as the minority, who are less than 50% of the main population. So accordingly, the Indian Constitution has made several provisions for the protection of minorities. Okay, this provision fundamentally protect the right to equality, freedom, right against exploitation, cultural and educational rights. So even these people are given a proper provisions, so they will be properly protected. Now here are some laws which are relating to the women. Some laws for liberation, for the freedom of the women have been made. Let us see one by one which are those. First one is right to equal share in the property of the father and the husband. Previously only son used to get, right? But now, according to the laws which have been passed, according to that, even the woman, the daughter or the wife can get the equal share in the property of the husband or the father. Okay? Prevention of Dowry Act is made to avoid giving and taking of the money in the form of gifts, jewelry from in the marriage from the bride side to the bridegroom sides. Okay? Then prevention of the Domestic Violence Act and Act against sexual harassment. So these are the four, okay, laws which are passed for the protection of the women. Talking about the basic structure of the Constitution, as I told you, the basic structure of our Constitution is that. Now, as I told you in a previous slide, amendments are made in the Constitution. Many changes are made in the Constitution, but the basic structure of the Constitution remains the same. Okay? So, what is the basic structure of the Constitution? First thing is the republican and democratic form of governance. That is, people have a political right in our nation. The head of our nation is elected by proper elections. We have a federal structure of Constitution. That means the power does not lie only into the supreme level, but the powers lies into the hands of the state government and also at the local self-governing bodies. Next, you can say the basic structure of Constitution is the promotion of unity and integrity of the nation. Sovereignty of a nation, secularism. Secularism means the people of our nation, they have a freedom to choose their religion, okay, enjoy their religion and to follow their customs and traditions, and supreme of the Constitution. So this is the basic structure of the Constitution. What is the significant features of judicial decisions? They work for the rights of children, they work for the protection of human rights, also they protect the honor and dignity of women, individual freedom and tribal empowerment. So these are the significant judicial decisions. Now, let us start with the MCQs, multiple choice questions. First question is, the Constitution of India came into force on dash. So first we'll be reading all the choices which have been given alternatives, and then we'll mark the correct answer in this. So Constitution of India came into force on dash. Okay, so you have the first option, 26 January 1949, 26th November 1949, 26 January 1950 and 15th August 1947. So when you read this, first thing you would come to know that, okay, this one is not going to be a correct answer because 15th August 1947, Independence Day of India, of a nation, correct? Then 26 January 1949, it is just a date which may make you confused because this is also January and this too is January, but the years are different, right? So this is not the correct alternative. Next we have 26 November 1949. So you have to remember one thing, children, that the Constituent Assembly of India was adopted by a constitution on 26 November 1949. Okay, but the Constitution came into force. The question is, Indian Constitution came into force on. So, though it was been adopted by the Constituent Assembly on 26 November 1949, this is not the correct option because the question asked is, it came into force. So, of course, it came into force, it came into action on 26 January 1950. And that is a Republic Day, right? What is the essence of democracy? Essence means what is the significant feature of our democracy? What is it? Is it the universal adult franchise? Is it the decentralization of power, policy of reservation of seats, or judicial decision? What is it? So when we have done this chapter, you know this term we have learned, universal adult franchise, It means that it gives a right to vote to the adult citizens regardless of whatever gender or social status that person belongs to. The question is, what is the significant feature of democracy? So this is about the elections and about the giving the right to vote. Okay, let us see the C1, policy of reservation of seat. This too will not be there because this is a process of reserving certain seats, okay, for certain category of a society, of a nation. So this too will be not the correct one. Judicial decisions means legal decisions. Okay, you can say a type of a decisions which are given by the courts regarding the rights. So this too will not be a correct one. What is the correct one over here now? Decentralization of power. It means that the powers are distributed, decision making powers have been distributed from supreme unit to the smaller unit. That is, powers are given to the state level also. Third one, which of the following laws created a favorable environment for women to secure freedom and self-development? So, looking at the options itself, many of them will guess the correct answer. But even though, we'll see what are the options given. Right to Information Act, Dowry Prohibition Act, Food Security Act, and none of the above. So, the question is about the favorable environment for the women, to secure the women. Okay. So, Right to Information Act, what does it talk about? We have learned this. This is a act, a big step. Okay, this act, it is a big step which works towards not only the women, but it has taken a step, okay, towards making citizens informed about the government activities, not only about the women. So this is going to be a incorrect one. Let us see Food Security Act. Food Security Act, is it related to women anyway? No. This act has the objective to provide the food and the nutritional quality food to the people at an affordable price. So this too will be wrong. None of above, there is no question about it. Now what is left? Dowry Prohibition Act. Okay, as I told you, means this was enacted to prevent of giving or receiving any of the money, jewelry, you can say expensive things from the bride side to the bridegroom side in marriage. Okay, so this system is stopped. That is called as the Dowry Prohibition Act, and it secures the freedom and self-development of the women. Who has the power to make changes in the constitution? Is it the parliament? Is it the local self-governing institution? Is it the legislative assembly? Or is it the cooperative institution? We need to find it. So, local self-governing institution means, what are these? We have learned in our lower classes also, right? These are the bodies or the institution which looks after the administration of a town or a city. Now, they cannot make the changes in the constitution, logically, if you think so. Correct? So, this one is going to be a incorrect one. Legislative assembly, that is Vidhan Sabha, Rajya Sabha, working at a state level, they also can't make the changes in the constitution. Cooperative institutions, children, these are the organization which gives or renders the service to the the people who belong to economically backward class people without expecting any of the profit. Okay, this organization who renders the service to such a people, those are the cooperative institution. So among three of them, whether it is a local, state, or whether it is, you can say, a cooperative institution, none of them have a power to make the change in the constitution. So of course, parliament. Okay, understand, children? Parliament, it is the supreme legislature body of a government. Okay, like constitution is the supreme law of our nation, same way parliament, it is the supreme legislative body of our government. Next one, fifth one, the dash has declared that parliament cannot alter basic structure of constitution while amending the constitution. You need to understand the question first. The question asked is, parliament cannot alter, it cannot make the changes, okay, it cannot make the changes in the basic structure of the constitution. Now, as I told you, in a constitution, many of the changes are made according to the, as the time is going on. Various changes are made as per the demand of the time, right? But even though the basic structure of our constitution cannot be changed, right? So, the question asked is, who has declared that parliament cannot alter, cannot change the basic structure of the constitution while amending, while making the changes in the constitution? Who is it? Is it the president? Is it the judiciary system? Is it the legislative, or it is the executive body? Okay. Now, who is the president? President is the elected head of our republic nation. Judiciary, it is a you can say it is a branch which is concerned with all the legals and the law system. Okay. Legislative body, again this is a branch which is making and passing of the laws, right? Executive body, it is a body, you can say a branch of a government which is responsible for carrying, for executing the laws that is done by the executive body, right? Now, president is the elected head of the republic nation. He cannot make the changes, right? So the judiciary system, okay, this is a branch which is concerned with the legal and the law system, and the judiciary has declared. Now understand, parliament can make the changes into the changes, and they can alter, they can amend the constitution, but to see that the basic structure of constitution is not changed while doing so, this work is been done by the judiciary system of our nation, right? Sixth one, which of the following are the features of good governance? When do we say that our government is a good government? What are the hallmark, or what are the symbols, or what are the features which tells us that our government is a good governance? Okay, is it to have an accountable and responsible government? Yes. Effective and efficient government? Yes. Responsive government? Transparency in the working of the government? Right? All of the above things, 1, 2, 3 and 4, if you see, all are the features which prove that our government, like the working of a government is of good governance, right? So, is it 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 2 and 4, all of the above? All of the above, these are the features to prove that we have a good governance, okay? It is accountable also, responsible also, effective, and also there is a transparency in the working of government under the Right to Information Act I told you of 2005. So the correct answer here is D, all of the above. Seventh one is, the dash of state policy include the provision for democratic decentralization. The dash of state policy, is it the rules and regulations, or is it the terms and conditions? Is it the directive principles, or is it the Right to Information Act? So when you read all this alternative, you'll come to know this one is not going to be a correct one, because this is something related to people's knowledge about act, where the people are well enough aware of the working of the government, right? Rules and regulations cannot be, because rules and regulations, these are the guidelines or instruction of doing something. So this won't be a correct one. Terms and conditions, somewhat like rules and regulations. What is left now? Directive principles. So understand, children, directive principle, this is a set of instructions which are given by the government, and the main aim of this directive principle is to create social and economic condition where people can live a good life. So directive principle is the correct answer. The directive principles of state policy include the provision for democratic decentralization. Eighth one, read the following statement and identify the statement related to the Indian Constitution. Indian Constitution is dynamic. Yes. Dynamic means what? It is not stable. It keeps on changing according to the changing time. Okay, it keeps on changing. So it is dynamic, right? It is not stable. Nature of Constitution is seen as a living document. Yes, it is a living document because many changes are made in our Constitution, right? Next one, it accepts the necessity of modification according to the changing needs of a society. Yes, according to the changing needs of the society, there are certain changes which happens or which are made or amendments are made in our Constitution. The basic structure of a Constitution can be altered. Can we change or can we alter the basic structure of our Constitution? No chance. I told you. Changes can be done, amendments can be done, alteration can be done, but only under the condition basic structure should not be changed. But what is asked over here? The basic structure of Constitution can be altered. No, not at all. We cannot alter the basic structure of the Constitution. So what is the correct one then? 1, 2 and 3. Correct? 1, Constitution is dynamic, it is a living document, and it accepts the modification according to the need of a society. So it is A1, which is correct one over here. Going to ninth one. The Dash Amendment reserved 33% of seats for women in local self-governing institution. Local self-governing institution, like you can say municipalities, municipal corporations, Zilla Parishad, okay, those. So the Dash Amendments, it reserves 33% of seats for women in local self-governing institution. Is it the 13th and the 14th amendment? Okay, no. Is it the 73rd and 74th, 92nd and 96th one, or 99? Now, these laws, there are not necessary that we should know all these amendments which are made. But one thing is that in your textbooks, when you have read, twice it has come. Noticeable that it is talking only about the 73rd and the 74th amendment which are made. Is it is related to the 33% of seat reservation for the women or for the decentralization? Okay. So 73rd and 74th is the correct option over here. Without seeing the other option, it is quite noticeable to you that in textbook, in the entire lesson, we are talking about the 73rd and the 74th amendment. If you have read the textbook well, okay. Correct answer B option, 73rd and 74th. 10th one. In India, young generation has got an opportunity of political participation because, due to what reason it is? First one is free and fair elections are conducted at regular intervals. B1. People can participate in the governance due to democracy. C1. The voting age is reduced from 21 to 18 years. And D1. Indian democracy is the largest democracy in the world. Now if you read all the options, you may find all are correct, because all are related to the elections and political participation. Okay, so first one, it tells about the free and fair election. Is it because the free and fair elections are conducted, so young generation are taking part in the political participation? No, not at all. It's not a correct one. You require the proper age, adult franchise, isn't it? About 18 years of age. People can participate in governance due to democracy. It may be partially correct, but that is not a correct answer here. Next one is, Indian democracy is the largest democracy in the world, so young generation take an opportunity to go into political participation? No. Now what is left over here? C1. The voting age is reduced from 21 years to 18 years of age, as I told you. So India is a nation, largest democracy, where we have more number of voters. And one thing you have to keep in mind, not only quantitative but also qualitative. Okay, so C option is the correct answer here. 11th one. The reforms that have been made in the last few decades to democratize India are coming from a dash. Okay. Now the first option is citizens are as beneficiaries approach, interaction between government and citizens. C1, right to information, and D1, right based approach. If you have read the textbook, in you will find a small you can say column where the information about right based approach has been given to you. Now let us see the first one. Okay, citizens as beneficiaries approach. Now it doesn't mean that if the government is doing any of the provisions or any of the some of the development for the citizens of a nation, the government is not doing any favor on the citizens. Remember, so citizens are beneficiaries. Are we the beneficiaries? No, this one is wrong. Interaction between government and citizens. Okay, because of this we are not getting a democratized India. Right to Information Act, this act gives the right to the people to know about the activities of the government. So these two won't be a correct one. Last one is right based approach. This is the correct answer. What is a right based approach? Here it means that government does not do any favor. If government is doing any provisions, any of the development for the benefit of the citizens of our nation, any welfare program they are doing, okay, it is not the favor they are doing, but they are responsible. It is the responsibility of the government to do so. So right based approach is going to be the correct answer, and due to this we have got democratized. Okay. 12th one. In Maharashtra, dash seats are reserved for women in local self-governing institution. Now last previous question you have taken, according to which amendment it was been given. Okay, 33% of the reservation of women was given under which amendment act. Here the question is that in Maharashtra, dash seats are reserved for the women in the local self-governing institution. What is it? Is it 25%, 30%, 40 or 50%? Okay, it is 50%. Okay, 50% reservation seats are reserved for the women in the local self-governing institution. Okay, next one, 13th one. Which of the following provisions are regarding minorities? Now we have learned about the minorities, right? Government has adopted several policies which give opportunities of education and employment to the minorities. Yes, we have done this before. We have started with the MCQs. Various policies are made for the protection, okay, for the minorities, and also to give some concessions to them. Discrimination on the basis of caste, religion, race, language and region has been prohibited. Yes. So question is, which of the following provisions are regarding minorities? Is it only A1 or it is only first one or second one? Is it both 1 and 2 or none of the above? None of the above, no question. The government has made provisions to protect, okay, or to give the freedom to the minorities. So D1 is going to be incorrect one. Is it asking only A1? No. Only second one? No. But both of them, 1 and 2. Government has adopted several policies for the opportunities of education and employment to minorities. Also, it prohibits any of the discrimination. Discrimination means any of the differences which is made on the basis of caste, religion, language. 14th one. The right to information dash has made government more transparent and has reduced the element of secrecy in its working. Which year it was been formed? Okay, now 3 to 4 times I have told about the same thing to you. Right to Information Act, it is for what purpose? And this act, which year it was been made? To bring about more transparency, and it has reduced the secrecy in the working of the government. Which year it was? Whether it was the year which is given over here 2007, is it 2005, 2010 or 2012? RTI, in your textbook itself it is given in the box, RTI 2005. 2005 is the year. Okay, going ahead, 15th one. 73rd and 74th amendment in Indian Constitution gave a constitutional status to dash and also increase its or their power. Whose it is? Is it business? Is it RTI, that is right to information? Is it local self-governing institution, or whether it is election commission? Business, there is no question to think about it. It should be a correct answer. RTI, no, because we know well about RTI now. 2005, this act came into being. We can think about these two options. But when we look at the election commission, it does not have to do anything with over here with the 73rd and 74th amendment of Indian Constitution. Okay, but let us have a try for this election commission. What body is it? It is a permanent body, you can say, right? It is an independent body which established, you can say, by the which is established by the Constitution of India. Okay, and it ensures to see that the free and fair election take place in India. So this won't be a correct one, right? What is left now? Of course, local self-governing institution. What is the questions? According to 73rd and 74th amendment in India, Constitution have gave a constitutional status to increase whose power? It is the local self-governing institution, whether it is municipal corporations, Zilla Parishad or municipalities. Okay. 16th one. Which of the following statement is or are correct with respect to the policy of reservation of seat? First one, is it the policy of reservation of seat is meant for those who have been deprived is kept away from for long time of opportunities of education and employment for long time? Is it accordingly citizens in India have got right to education, right to information and right to food act? What is the correct answer? Is it 1? Is it only 2? Is it 1 and 2 or Both are incorrect, 1 and 2. What is the correct answer here? So the question, it is talking about the reservation of seats. Provisions with respect to the policy of reservation of seat. So of course from the word, when you read it, you will come to know policy of reservation is there. You can get a hint over here. Policy of reservation is given here, right? So what will be the correct answer here? First one. Okay. The following statement, first statement, it is the correct with respect to the policy of reservation of seat. But the second one, it does not tell about the policy of reservation. It is open for everyone. Right to education, right to information, and right to food act, regardless of whatever religion, caste, gender you belong to. But the first one, this policy is a policy of reservation of seats, right? So the first option is going to be a correct one. 17th. What does establishment of social justice mean? First one, social justice, from the word itself will come to know we are talking about what social justice. Young generation has got opportunity of political participation. No. This we have learned in our universal adult franchise, correct? To protect the fundamental rights of citizens, giving equal opportunities, equality opportunities for development of every individual, or to bring good governance for strengthening democracy. Which one is the correct answer? Okay, so it is talking about social justice. Okay, so more chances are there that now fundamental right it is talking about. This is the incorrect one. To bring about a good governance, no, this is not the correct one. So which one will be the correct one over here now? C1. Giving equality of opportunity for development of every individual. For finding the correct alternative, you need to read the questions well. Okay, many times the answer is hidden in the question itself and it may give you a hint too. 18th one. Complete the table by choosing the correct option given below the table. Here are the acts which have been given to you and here are the objectives. Okay, so the act right to information, what is the objective of it? To promote transparency and accountability in working of the government. Correct? This is correct one. Now, what is the name of an act which rejects the traditional form of domination and authoritarianism? Which one is the act? What is the name of the act? Is it the Food Security Act? No chance. So Food Security Act, no chance, because in Food Security Act, what this act aims at? It aims to provide food and nutritional security to the people. B1 is the Consumer Protection Act. Okay, it is about safeguarding the consumers, right? C1 is the Right to Education Act. No. Right to education, from the words itself will come to know food, consumer and education. Right, and it is talking about the traditional form of domination. Right to education, it is act which came into force on 2009. It is called as the RTE Act and it describes the importance of free and compulsory education for the children, okay, from the age 6 to 14 years of age. So now what is left here? Domestic Violence Prohibition Act. This is the act which provides the protection, okay, against anything wrong which is done against the woman. You can say it works for the women who have been victim to the violence of any kind which occurs at the home. That is called to be as the Domestic Violence Prohibition Act. 18th, 19th one now. The concept of dash means equal rights to all, vote to all adults. First one is adult suffrage, second one is individual suffrage, C1 is economic benefit and D1 is cultural rights. Cultural right will cross it there itself, it won't be a. Economic also is not related to any of the equal, anything related to the votes and all. Now the question arises between A and B. Confusion here, adult suffrage and individual suffrage. Okay. This individual suffrage may sound partially correct, but individual suffrage, it simply talk about the rights to vote which is given to the people. Okay, this won't be a correct one. Whereas the adult suffrage is the correct answer, because adult suffrage, also called to be as the universal franchise, it gives a right to vote to only the adult citizens. So adult franchise is the correct answer. 20th one. Which act prevents any injustice against the people belonging to scheduled caste and scheduled tribe? When we have revised the chapter, we spoke about it. First one is it the Prevention of Terrorism Act? Is it the Prevention of Atrocity Act? When SC and ST comes to a mind, you should understand what the answer should be. Prevention of Dowry Act or Prevention of Minority Act. So let us see from beginning. Prevention of Terrorism Act, why it is a wrong one? Because this act was passed in the year 2002 with the objective of strengthening anti-terrorism activity. It is not related to scheduled caste or scheduled tribe. This is not the correct one. Next one is C1 will see. Prevention of Dowry Act. This is enacted to prevent giving or receiving the property, the goods, the money in marriage from the groom's side, from the bride's side. So this is also not related to the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. Prevention of minority. This is for protecting the minority population. So this too is not the correct one. Which is the correct one then? B1. Prevention of Atrocity Act. This act is enacted to prohibit any of the discrimination, any of the hatred of crime which is done against the ST or SC category. That is the Atrocity Act. Okay. 21. Dash controls the misuse of power and creates opportunities for political participation for common people. Is it one by one? We'll see. One by one we'll see. Decentralization of democracy we have. Then we have political maturity. Then we have social justice and equality, and none of the above. So last one, there is no chance that we may have this one correct one. None of the above. Then we have decentralization of democracy. Let us see with the political maturity. What is the meaning of political maturity? That the people are mature enough to understand, or they are aware about their functions, political parties, and also they are aware of their political rights. So this is not the correct one. Okay. What does it say? It controls the misuse of a power. Social justice and equality, no, because it speaks about everyone is equal into the eye of the law and justice. So this is not a correct one. Decentralization of power is correct answer here, because decentralization of democracy, it means what? That power does not rest into the hand of one supreme power. As a result, the misuse of power will not be done at all. Right? Decentralization means powers has been distributed, it has been dispersed at various levels, so there won't be a misuse of a power. Okay, so the correct answer will be decentralization of democracy. 22nd one, the Indian Constitution has declared its objective to establish what? Economic uniformity, political stability, foreign relations, or secular democratic republic. What is the main objective? What is it? Is it economic uniformity? When we talk about economic uniformity means what? Everyone is equally, economically everyone is important. Indian Constitution has not declared that so. So this is a wrong one, right? First one, we have the political stability. That means there is no disturbance in the working of the politics. Then we have the foreign relations. These are about the relations with the other nations, neighboring nations and other nations, right? But the main objective is what? Secular democratic. This is the basic framework of our nation. No amendments can be made related to the D1. As I told you, secular means what? People are free to practice any religion they want to. Democratic means people have the political rights. And republic, because the head of our nation or the state is being elected by a proper election. So the correct answer is secular democratic republic. 23. Right to Information Act, RTI, is necessary to create opportunities for dash and interaction with the government. Is it tax evasion? That means escaping the tax, using illegal ways to skip or to avoid paying the tax. No, this is an incorrect one. Then is it public unrest and strike, that is causing disturbance in or violating the laws? No, this one is incorrect one. Moral education means any of the education related to the moral values. No. Then Right to Information Act is necessary to create opportunities for citizens' participation. Citizens can also participate, they can interact with the government, because as I said, there is no secrecy between the citizens and the government, working of the government. There is a complete transparency. So citizens' participation and interaction in the government, it happens, or it is necessary to create opportunities in Right to Information Act. Second last one. By 73rd and 74th Amendment to Indian Constitution in 1992 gave a dash to local self-governing institution. Is it three-tier structure? What is the meaning of three-tier structure? Let us understand. Three-tier structure, let us read the options first. Then constitutional status, code of conduct and set of directives. First one is three-tier structure. This was formalized in 1992 by 73rd and 74th Amendment, that the system, that is the three levels, local level, like this, the Gram Panchayat, the Panchayat Samiti, or you can say the Zilla Parishad. Okay, these are the three-tier structures. Then we have the constitutional status. Okay, code of conduct. Code of conduct means what? These are the norms and rules which are responsible for a political party. That is a code of conduct. Then we have the set of directives. These are the orders, official orders. Those are called today as the set of directives. So which one is going to be the correct answer here? Of course, the answer here will be constitutional status. Last one. The Indian government has been working in accordance with the principles of dash. What is it working with the principle? Is it the parliament? Is it the president? Is it the constitution? Or is it a party or a political party? So Indian government has been working according to the principles of what? Is it the parliament? As you know that parliament, it is the supreme legislative body of our government. But even though it's not a correct answer, principles of parliament. Is it the president? No. Political party, no chances to be political parties. But the correct answer here will be constitution. Why constitution? Because the set of rules and regulations, okay, they have been by which the country is governed, it is done by the constitution. So the correct answer here will be constitution. With this we end with the multiple choice questions of chapter number 1, political science. Thank you, students.